hacking house around the world. So if you are interested in the program, I recommend you visit the hackinghouse.com website, so you can find all the information if you also want to join this program, guys.
That's really nice. I didn't know they were going to launch all the hacking house around the world. I mean, the 50.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
that is the idea. At this moment, there is one currently in Taipei, and there is a new one on Silicon Valley again this year.
Yeah, that's really great. So people, take that advice if you want to dig deeper onto these on these problems or solution ideas. Go and visit the website Maria said. We're going to post it later on the post we are transmitting, and let's get started from that point on. I know Sophie wants to ask some questions to Maria right away because they are really important. So go ahead.
Okay, and before I start doing the questions, remember that you can first give us any feedback or tell us your experience today through Facebook or YouTube, and also that you can do any questions you want to Maria. So Mari, the first thing I wanted to know about your experience, probably first of all in the hacking house, but also doing IoT projects, is what do you find the hardest?
The hardest during like the program or during both? Okay. I think the hardest thing for me during the program was the communication, because it's like get agree with all the members of the program about an idea, because it's a program where you don't have a boss sitting next to you like providing you all the ideas that you have to work on. You have to research, you have to interview people, you have to define a problem and also define how you are going to solve it, and you have to do all these things as a team. But if you don't have a leader and all of the team member of your team are giving their suggestion, but there are different cultures involved, there are a high contrast of idea between in the team. So this communication was really hard, like to get, okay, we're going to start working on this. This was on one of the hardest things, like in general, but in the project that I was working on was understand the supply chain where I was working on, because I was working for an application in the logistic industry, and this is a supply chain which is really, really big, and there are many people involved. So you have to know, okay, who is going to take my product, who is the first person who is going to manage it, who is the one who is going to be doing all the change, and who is the one who is going to receive it. So trying to understand all these supply chains was was really hard for us.
So I think from my point of view, the hardest part for you was like creating a team, understanding a team from different cultures, and also, aside from the technical part, understanding that us as only engineers, we need to take a bigger picture and think about all of what a solution takes for.
Exactly.
So for example, it's not only technical, but it's also commercial stuff and
exactly.
a lot of different things that we as engineers don't take on our minds.
Exactly. It's like trying to define a problem, just one problem, and how you are going to solve it. Like us like engineers, we always go through the technical side. Okay, I know that I'm going to build this, but you have to also know like all the things that are involved to be able to build the right solution.
Okay, I understand. So opposite to Sophie's question, now what was the greatest thing or the thing that you most liked? I mean, about being there professionally, working with other people from other countries with different language cultures. So what was the best professionally?
Professionally, okay. Before joining the program, I used to be more in the technical side of the deployment on the solution, because it's like the clients working here at Ubidots, we have different clients that they have their needs, and they provide us their needs, and we work on a solution to solve their problems. So I already have the problem, and I just go to the technical side to solve it with the technical side. But being over there, I have to think more in the product manager side than the technical side.
Yeah.
So over there, I get involved in all these stages for an IoT application development, and I think like as growth as a professional, now I have that vision, like the vision of the product manager side than the technical one.
That's really great, and I think this Facebook Live, YouTube Live is going to transmit that to people, because we want you guys to know about what is required to build an IoT project, right? It's not just connecting cables,
Exactly.
coding, making a firmware, or getting a Ubidots to solve some problems, but also product management. I mean, how are you going to test that? The product is really needed in the commercial side, in the marketing side, all of that stuff. So with that in mind, what would you say to people about what is needed to build an IoT solution apart from connecting cables, firmware, and connecting to the cloud?
Okay.
What do you think is those like 3 things that are must?
Okay. Like my personal recommendation after my experience during the program and here at Sigfox, I can say that there are 4 major stages.
4 is fine.
4 is fine. For me, like there are 4 major stages for an IoT development application. The first one is the exploration one, the first stage, where basically you have an idea, and you have to define an idea in order to define a problem or need that you are going to solve with your solution. That is the first stage. The second stage for me is the validation one, which is where you have to build a proof of concept. You have to assembling blocks, services in order to solve a problem. And my recommendation for this is that if you want to launch a proof of concept as quick as possible, is use development boards already available in the market, and also services for like third-party services for IoT like Ubidots, because you have to take in account, you have to keep in mind that build an IoT platform like a service itself can take you 400 to 1,000 hours of development just to build that. So you have to know that there are many tools at this moment in this environment that you can use to build that proof of concept as quick as possible.
Okay.
That's my recommendation for the second stage. And here you have to prove in this stage that you are proving that the idea that you have in the first stage, you are solving the problem with that solution. With that solution, exactly. The third stage is the acceleration one, where you already prove. Here's when you already prove that everything is working with your product, and your device is doing what you expect and what your client expect for that device. So you are solving that problem. Once you have the problem, you have to accelerate that by creating your own board design. By keeping in mind all the risks that can be involved during all the lifetime of the product, and know how you are going to mitigate them.
Yep.
And the last one is the development one. When you already prove and you already validate your idea, it's time to deploy this, and it's time to monetize your product by putting it in the end user hands, and not just with the client that you make all the validation.
All right. So again, 4 stages. I just want to go look through. So the first one is exploration about your idea. The second one is validation, that is proof of concept. So for example, in simple terms, it's connecting a device to Ubidots and see that you can monitor any variable or something that you need to solve your problem. The third station is accelerating,
which is the minimum viable product.
Okay, minimum viable product to sustain like a profitable company.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really product and managing. And the fourth is like now deployment.
Exactly.
A real solution. Okay, yeah. What do you think people is going to stumble the most on these stages? I mean, I think for a person to start in IoT, let's say a hardware engineer that doesn't know a lot about protocols, how to communicate to the cloud, that is always more comfortable with himself or herself working with firmware. How is that stage of going from just simple firmware connecting to the cloud?
Okay, my recommendation here is for all of those who want to start working with IoT is read a lot.
Read a lot.
Read a lot and get familiar with the different protocols that can be used for an IoT application, like HTTP and MQTT. Also knows all the type of connectivity for IoT devices that you have available in the market. Like each type of connectivity depends on the application that you are going to work on, depend on the industry where you're going to deploy the solution. So it's important that you know all the options that you have into this world in order to create the best solution for your application.
And of course, in this case, you're going to say like Sigfox, consider Sigfox because you were in Sigfox, right?
No, I don't have to say that because as I just mentioned that depends of the application that you're going to build. If you need a long range communication and you need a long battery lifetime, I can say you can use Sigfox for your application. If you want to put your device in the field for 5-10 years, you can use Sigfox.
Yep.
But if you have a local application in your house where you're going to use Sigfox, you can simply use Wi-Fi and
Wi-Fi and Ethernet. Yeah, you're right, completely right. So in terms of your experience with Sigfox, is people adopting this technology a lot? Is going to grow on the future? Do you think people is going to see Sigfox as a really viable solution, cheap solution, and I mean something that people is going to use a lot, so people can expect the market to grow in the following years?
Yeah.
I think from my low experience or knowledge, it's going to do.
Yeah, they are working on grow like this connectivity. We have to keep in mind that there are terms of coverage that they have to work on, but for the following years, I'm pretty sure that they're going to get a really good coverage around the world, and there are going to be many people working on solutions using this connectivity type. And also we have to keep in mind that now we have other cellular connectivities with which have long battery lifetime, and we have to know that Sigfox is an idea, but we also have other options to work on. So again, that depends of the solution that you're going to work on.
Okay. Yeah, that's really great.
People is starting to ask questions.
Okay.
So Sachin Sony is asking us something. So the first one is, if I want to sell, okay, so it is according to the second stage which you talked, and so if I want to sell IoT devices at smaller scales, maybe to the customer in our town. So for that, can I just directly use the dev boards?
Yeah, exactly. You can use dev boards, but in this case, think if you're going to build a product that has a small size, trying to find that development board with the small size as possible. As an example, working over there, I start building all my concept with an Arduino, and then I jump to a Trinket board, which is a board from Adafruit, which is a really, really small board that I just put
battery?
No. Yeah, I put the battery and all that stuff, and I find all the development board in the market that fix the size that I want to have in my end solution. So it's just make a research about all the development boards that there are right now in the market, and try to play with all of those. So if you want a small devices in as final product, thinking, okay, I have to find the small board, the development board in the market in order to have that concept and have a general idea how you want to look your device in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I think
also like using 3D printed casings, like it's just play with the tools that you already have in the market. You can design your own cases, and once you test that with your client, it's is when you have like
a real validation.
And then that you have that, you can design your PCB based on the development board that you use and based on the connectivity type that you use. And also if you build your own 3D printed case for that for that solution, then you can send this to a mechanical designer who build the perfect case for your application. Then you can just deploy it and launch it for all your clients.
Okay, Mari, and in case that the solution needs to be at a smaller scale, in case that, how do I explain this? So it's not smaller devices,
okay,
it's the smaller scale production.
Oh, I see.
So the project is smaller than...
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because the thing is that Ubidots and most of the IoT things can be used also large scale, industrial, that most of our clients do, but there are a lot of IoT makers that want to do smaller projects, and that's where his question is going. So
okay,
can you help us with that?
Okay, personally, I think for to launch an IoT solution, the right way to do it is by designing your own boards. You can start your working on your solution by using the development kit, and you can start playing with 100 devices and connect them with a cloud using development boards, but just in order to prove that concept. But if you're going to launch, my personal recommendation and professional recommendation is build your own boards in order to make it
fit your application.
Exactly, to make it fit your application, because you use a development board already available in the market. You are going to have some peripherals and some pinouts that you are not going to need for your application, and you have to keep in mind that those things takes battery consumption, space that you don't need. So if you're going to launch, it doesn't matter if it's a small scale, big scale, is always build your own design.
Yeah, I agree with that. IoT depends a lot on the application or problem to solve. So you can start, of course, with a dev kit, and even you can deploy solutions with them.
Exactly.
I mean, they are not bad, but sometimes if you want to fit something or some requirements on your solution, you need to think about, well, do I need all these pins? Do I need all this space? If I want a small device, then I have to think about designing my own PCB, and that's what Maria is trying to say. But of course, if you want to, I don't know, buy a particle device which are production ready,
exactly,
and you have a case, you design it yourself or somebody else.
And also, I want to mention that this is another important point. Is like if you're going to launch on a small scale production, and if you're going to use development boards, you have to keep in mind that this is going to cost you like.
Yeah,
it's going to be expensive. Like if you're going to use a particle device to launch on a small scale production, it's going to be expensive. It's better if you build your own PCB design with fitting your solution.
We always take as an engineers to only solve the solution, but if you're going to launch a small scale problem or solution application, you need to think that it's going to be costful, because scaling lower the prices and everything.
Exactly.
If you're going to produce 1,000 boards, it's not the same as producing 50, right? All manufacturers give discounts on large orders. So I think that would reply. How is his name? Sachin. I think that replies to your question. I also want to ask Maria about something really important that I've seen. I'm on the support team here at Ubidots, and we see people wanting to go really fast, right? Going from a simple firmware to connect, to deploy a solution, to have everything set up in a matter of, let's say, 2 months, 3 months. But I know for your experience that 3 months is not in developing a solution. So what do you think about telling us about that, about the patience we need to have to launch a solution, to have a POC working, and go to production?
The first thing is, like, as you say, be patient and work hard. That's like the first recommendation that I can say, because sometimes we get frustrated because something is not working as should be or as we expect.
Yeah, I experienced that. I'm always frustrated and I have to go to find her and work around.
Yeah, so sometimes we get frustrated because something is not working as we expect, or sometimes if you're working in the hardware and firmware side, it's more like you damage a board and you don't know why the board gets damaged, or sometimes you don't understand like how the protocol is working, and you get frustrated and you just put all this apart and you stop working. It's just be patient and keep working hard. That is like my initial, like my first recommendation for all of those who want to start working in this environment. It's not easy, but I'm pretty sure that if you want to learn, if you work hard, you are going to do it. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're going to have 100 days or if you're going to spend 1 year on this, but if you really want to do it, you are going to do it. This is like the first one. I also want to say that there are many in this new era of technology. There are many resources that you can find on internet.
I wanted to talk about that because we found out from my experience too is that we are lazy to look for information. And you can find like from interactive videos that teach you how to connect any device to any cloud services, to papers like scientific paper about IoT. So the thing is, we have all these resources on the internet that we don't know, but we have to look for those resources. Yeah. And I think that's part of the investigation or getting to know IoT. I think IoT is being huge because you go from just firmware coding to know connection protocols and connectivity
type for the devices.
Exactly, and then you get, for example, Ubidots. That is all the application interface. So you have to, as a maker, as an IoT entrepreneur, you need to think about all these things, and you're not used to. So that requires a lot of patience in regards finding the correct information to connect, to decide what connectivity to use, to decide which application layer works best for your solution. I would love to be Ubidots, of course. So the message here for those who want to launch solution is be patient, look for the information. There are a lot of resources, a lot of resources to help you POC or connect, decide what is the best solution or the best approach to solve something.
And also it's important to mention that there are many IoT communities online that you can reach out to it, and also in your city. I'm pretty sure that there is one IoT community in your city, and if there is no one, you can create one, and then you can contact me and we can do something. But there are many people around the world working in this same environment that I'm pretty sure that they are happy by helping you to solve the issues or the problem that you can have by working on the firmware and the hardware, or also integrate that device with any cloud services, because the idea is make a better world by solving problems using IoT.
That's great.
So according to that, you have 3 suggestions. The first one is patience.
Patient and work hard.
Okay, patience and work hard. Then the second one is read a lot. And then the third one would be to find support. Find
support.
Okay. Maria, I think the time is getting
to an end.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to do some questions that people is asking right now.
Okay, cool.
So the first one is, what about sensors? Can I implement an accurate solution using maker sensors and development boards?
Okay, you can use it, as I already mentioned, in your validation stage, and you then use the sensors that are embedded in those development sensors, like development kits sensors, in order to use it in your own designs.
Perfect. So then the second one is, what are the Ubidots thoughts about THW path to implement solutions to Industry 4.0?
Which one? What are the Ubidots thoughts about
I haven't heard about that.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, maybe
Teach
who's asking
the
about
bully.
it?
Jose Garcia.
Jose Garcia. Why don't you reach out on the support team, because I'm not familiar with what your question is, or maybe I'm not reading it right. Why don't we move to the next question?
Okay. So what are the Ubidots thoughts? Oh, okay, sorry, he corrected. That's the third question.
Oh.
So what are the Ubidots thoughts about the path to implement solutions to Industry 4.0?
Okay.
That's
4.0.
pretty interesting,
Yeah.
actually.
No, now we're talking manufacturing. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So can you rephrase the question? I think he's talking about the steps to follow on a manufacturing industry.
Okay.
Well, the good thing here is there are a lot of production-ready products. They are sometimes expensive, but they are really reliable. They are made to last many years. So the part is really, the concept is really the same. Start with a development kit, try sensors that measure all the things you want to measure, but then once you go to manufacture to a production ready, you need to shift to, let's say, a PLC or industrial sensors, and the tinkering is the same. You need to connect your sensors to Ubidots or another application layer through the same protocols. The protocols are different, but the connectivity to Ubidots is the same. HTTP or TCP, all that is the same. The only change is how those sensors or machines connect to each other. There are a lot of industrial protocols like Modbus TCP. So, I mean, I would say that it's almost the same, but then when you go to production, to a manufacturer, the things you use are different. So you don't use now development boards, but a PLC, an industrial PLC. It's not a sensor that is $1, but another one that is going to last and provide real good reliability and stability. Apart from that, is how that's the path to go to industry 4.0.
Okay. So is there anything any of you want to add, because we are
out of time?
We need to finish.
Do you want to say something, Maria?
Well, no, thanks to you guys for finally being here with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're going to be with me in the next Ubidots live session. And thanks for all of those who watched this Facebook live Ubidots live session.
Okay, that's really great.
I hope this provide you some useful information for your next IoT projects also.
Well, as always, if you have any additional questions, doubts, you want to start building your IoT project, you can communicate with us at support@ubidots.com. I'll be there responding for you. We have now Maria back again here. She's going to be handling also our next Facebook Live. And yeah, we really thank you for you to be here. And yeah, welcome back. Sophie, do you have any final word?
I just want to say bye as always, and remember that you can find all the information you need to create your IoT project, even if it's really big or if it has a smaller scale. You can find information in our blogs. In our blog, you can also find information in the help center, and you can always write to support or through social media, and Maria will answer and help you right away. So thank you so much.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.
Bye.